Hi everyone, so today I want to show you how I made this card. Now I've seen something similar to this but not quite the same, so it's kind of an inspired original. Okay, so I'm calling it a stacked card blank card because that's kind of what you do. You got a 5x7 card blank, a 4x6 card blank and a 3x5 card blank, and I've basically just stacked them. So you've got this one here, that's obviously where you write, then you've got that there, and then you've got this here. So it stands up like that, so you only have it on your desk or whatever, your mantelpiece. That's what it looks like. I've actually added these little bits in just because I thought it was a bit plain without anything in them. They kind of needed something. I probably should have matte and layered the cake to make it pop a little bit more, but by the time I got to this point it was late at night and I'd had enough, so I didn't. So this is the card we're going to do today. Very simple card, nice and easy. Again, the possibilities with this particular card I think are endless, and I'm going to have a play at some point. The one we're doing today is literally has this same mechanism in it, but I've just put it in the middle and it's going to have little embellishment things on it. So this was made using the Trimcraft Let's Celebrate paper pad. And then these little bunting things were from, I think it was something beautiful. I can't remember what it was called. It was an old Dovecraft paper pad from many years ago. They brought out around Easter, and had these little bunting things. So I used those, and there were some other ones in here as well. That's a rainbow one. There's various mishmash of different ones in there. The little cake I cut out of the Let's Celebrate 12x12 pad. So yeah, so that's what we're going to have a go with. So today, for today's card, I'm actually using, I went to the range. Okay, so I'm actually using some papers I bought from the range. So I went to the range because I really wanted some new stuff, and also stuff that you can then go and get yourself. So I came across this, and I haven't seen these before, but they had about 3 or 4 different like colorways, designs, etc. Styles of them. This is the one I like the best. And so basically this is not just a paper pad. So in here they've got like all sorts of things. So it's good for journaling, it's good for paper crafts, good for all kinds of things. So this is supposed to be like wrapping paper, but to be honest with you, it's not quite tissue paper, and it's not quite normal paper. It's quite thin, but I quite liked it. So there's that in there, and then you've got all this paper at the front. And again, this paper is not very thick paper, but for the card we're doing today, it's perfect. So it's all double-sided paper, but I really liked all the roses and the florals. I just thought it looked really nice, and you get 2 of each sheet, so that's the same again. And then there's all these things in it, and these are foiled. I don't know if you can actually see that. You might be able to see. There you go, you can see the foil. So these are foiled. Now they have one that's not foiled, and they've done them like postcards. So if you wanted them as postcards, you could, or you can use them as toppers. They've got a foiled one again, a non-foiled, foiled, non-foiled, all the way through. And then they've got these little blank ones, which are great because you could add your own. So yeah, so this is the thing. I'm just going to take you through it quickly. I know you guys have used these. You'll see those in a minute. I know you don't come on to, this isn't a craft haul, but I just wanted to show you this just because it's got some quite cute things. That's quite good if you're doing journaling. You've got your winter, spring, summer things to do for the, you know, goals and stuff. Loads of little sentiments. There's loads in here. I was really impressed. I think it was about $4.99, $3.99. And then these are all stickers. These are sticker sheets. So again, really good. Like them, a bit shiny, quite nice. I might use these on my calendar, some of these. All sorts of things. And then I've cut this paper already because you'll see that in a minute. And then at the back you've got these, some more papers. So really very beautiful, and a very good price considering all that you get in them. So yeah, so I thought we'd have a go with that. And we've got a little pouch thing and some more stickers and some ribbon. So yeah, I just thought it was quite a nice little idea. So that's what we're using. I've also used, for the inside of my card, I've also used a very old pad. I don't suppose you can get this anymore. This was obviously from the works. And this was a vintage classic vintage paper stack. But I just wanted to use this one for the inside. But I don't think you can get this anymore. It's quite an old one. Okay, so for this card, you are going to need quite a few bits, considering how simple it is. You're going to need a 5x7 card blank, or if you haven't got one of those, you need a 10" by 7" piece of card scored halfway at 5 inches, obviously along the 10" way, and that will turn it into a 5x7. You then need a 4x6 card blank. Again, if you don't have one of those, you need an 8x6 piece of card that is scored halfway at 4 inches, folded in half. And you need a 3x5 card blank. And again, if you don't have one of those, you need a 6x5 scored halfway at 3 inches. Okay, so they're your 3 card blanks. Now you'll notice my whites don't match because this is a card blank and these 2 are pieces of card. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter. Once I've added all the patterns and everything else on, unless you're looking for it, you're really not going to notice. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. So the other thing as well is, obviously these are the sizes that I'm using. But if you're in a different country and you have different card sizes, you can literally easily translate this to whatever your sizes are. So just take whatever the largest size that you can post or you want to use, and then just come down by, well, this is kind of like, well, you can see if I stack them like that, you can see they're literally equal going down. I think there's about ½ an inch, maybe difference between each, well, an inch. So yeah, so you got 5x7, 4x6. So if you come down an inch for each one, then you'll have the same thing. You could do it square as well if you wanted to. You could do all sorts. There's literally all sorts you can do with this. So for these cards, you're going to need quite a lot of layers. Now, when I did my original card, you can probably see it's very chunky indeed. The actual card blank, like card base that I used, was already at least a 300. I mean, I think it's more. I think it's more like a 350. It's very thick. And then all of these layers that I used, well, this is 200 GSM, and I think that the pink one was about 200 GSM. And then with these added in, you've got a lot of chunk there, a lot of chunk. So this time round, I've decided to go a little bit less. So this is a lot thinner. It's probably about a 240, maybe a 240. I think this one's about a 250, maybe a bit more, not sure really. But it's not that thick. And because the papers I'm using are so thin, that really helps. I'm not sure what weight these are. They're probably about a feeling that, I would say it's probably about a 140, maybe less, maybe a 120. Nice and thin. And this matte layer that I used was probably about a 180, 160. So not very much, not very much. And I did that deliberately in the hope this won't be quite as chunky. So what you are going to need, we're going to start with the back card first, the biggest card. So onto this, you need to get ready a matte piece that is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Now I am only going to do one matte piece for each of the sizes. Okay, so I'm going to do one on the front of each. On my original card, I've got matte on the front, but I've also got matte on all of the insides as well. And I decided this time around I'm not going to do that. So if you want to do that, you'd need 3 of these, but for the way I'm doing it, I only need 1. So we're going to stick that onto the front of the card, and on top of that we're going to stick a pattern piece which is 4.5 by 6.5. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and just stick these down. Okay, so I've stuck that down. So that's going to be, I'm just going to leave that blank. I might, because that's quite fragile, I might, no, it's not that thick. I might add in afterwards a matte layer maybe inside. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see how we go. So anyway, so that's that one done. So we can put that to one side. I also just want to point out the fact that I've gone through, obviously, that paper pad just now. I haven't been sent that. That hasn't been gifted to me. That's something I bought with my own money. Okay, so just want to add that in, just so you know, not been paid off by anybody. I just like it and thought you might like it. Right, so on this one, now, this card, it's not going to open up the way you normally open it up. You want to turn it round so it opens up that way rather than the way you'd normally do it. If you have a right way up paper, which I kind of do, you want to make sure you definitely turn this the right way around, like the wrong way around, but the right way for this card. So then when you stick this down, it will go, you know, it's up the right way. So for this one, you need a matte card that is 3 3/4 by 5 3/4 and a pattern that's 3.5 by 5.5. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that onto the front there, and then stick the whole lot onto the front there, making sure it opens up to the left here. On my original, I also did another 2 mats and 2 patterns to go inside, but I'm not going to do that this time. We're just going to do 2 patterns, so I'll show you in a minute. You can do mats if you want. I am wondering whether I should do a mat, but it's just a lot of paper, so I'm not going to do that. So let's stick this pattern onto this mat and then the whole thing onto the front of the card. Okay, so that's stuck down. So that's that. I'm going to do the inside in a minute, but I'm going to put that to one side. We'll just deal with the fronts first. Okay, so next you want to bring in your little one, your 3 by 5, and on the front you need a matte piece that is 2 3/4 by 4 3/4 and a pattern that's 2.5 by 4.5. So again, we're going to stick that onto the front of there and stick the whole lot onto the front, and this time your card does need to open up the way it should. Okay, so I've done that one. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to do the bits to go inside. So the main card, as I said, I haven't done anything for the inside. I might change my mind on that, but for now I'm going to leave that clear. And then the 4 by 6 one, which opens up the wrong way, I've cut out 2 mats, well not mats, 2 pattern pieces. So these 2 pattern pieces are the same as your mats. So these are 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and we're going to stick them in. So if I open this up, I'm going to stick one here and the other one's going to go there like that. So that's going to be in there. As I said, you can put a matte layer in if you want to, but I've decided that I'm not going to for the insides. So I'm going to go ahead and stick those down. Okay, so that's your middle card done. So then we're going to bring in the smallest one, and again for the inside of this I've gone for this is actually a continuation on from that one. So these are going to go inside here, and these are the same size as your mats. So these are 2 3/4 by 4 3/4, and obviously I've got 2 of them. Okay, so now we've done all that, we're now going to go ahead and stick this one down onto the front of this card. Now I have got a little pop-up mechanism that I'm going to put inside, but I'm going to do that after I've stuck it down. You can do it before or you can do it after. I don't think there's a great deal of difference. Actually no, we will do it before. We will do it before. It might be easier, so let's do it before. Okay, so this is the middle one. So on the middle one, I have cut out a piece of card, and this is really quite thin. This was Hobbycraft card. I think it's about a 180, and normally I'd use it for matting, but because I wanted to keep the bulk down, that's why I've ended up using it for now. And so this piece of card is about 1 inch wide, but again, you can change that. It's up to you. And then the length of it is 8 inches. And so I've scored it at 2 inches, at 4 inches, and at 6 inches. And all we're going to do is we're going to fold it in half, so at the 4 inch mark like that, and then we're just going to fold the other 2 folds up the other way. Got like a W shape, and what's going to happen is this is going to sit in here. I'm going to do it roughly in the middle like there, and across to there like that. Okay, and then on there we're going to stick some little embellishments, but to start with we're just going to stick this down. So you will need some double-sided tape. You can use either double-sided or red tape. I would normally use red tape for something like that, but because it's so thin, I'm going to risk I'm going to risk it and use normal double-sided and hope that I don't regret doing that. Okay, so I've just added the tape on, I've taken the backing off, and now I'm going to take my strip. I'm going to find roughly halfway. I'm going to go slightly above centre actually, up there, and we just need to make sure it's nice and straight. If you want to make absolutely sure it's straight, then measure it. Okay, so that's like that, and then we're going to stick that down like that and put some more tape on there, and then stick that down. Now when we come to sticking it down, you can either shut your card on it, or you can actually like stick it down with it open. It's probably best to stick it down with the card, like close the card onto it. The only problem is you do run the risk of it being slightly wonky that way. Because I've used such thin card, I think I'm going to open it up, and then I'll just have to redo the creases. So I'm going to open this like this. I'm going to stretch it all the way across like that, hoping that is actually straight. I think it is. Stick it down like that, and then when we fold it up, yeah, it has stuck together nicely. It just sometimes your crease lines might not be exactly in the right place. But I wanted to stick it because I know that that crease line would readjust because it's such thin, such thin card that I've used. Okay, so then what we're going to do is go ahead and stick some little embellishments on. So I found these little circular ones. These were in the pack that I just showed you earlier. So I thought they were quite cute. So I know we've got a bit of a difference in reds, but anyway, I don't mind. So let's do that one there and that one there. And I'm just going to go ahead and stick those down. Okay, so there you have it. So that's what on the front. You open it up and you've got that there, which I think is quite nice. I actually quite like those. The other thing as well that I really like about these is the fact that on the back they're actually coloured. So even if you see the back, you're not actually gonna. It's not white. You actually get a bit of red. So I think that's quite nice. That's actually worked quite well. So that's that one. So I'm going to go ahead now and stick that onto the front of this, just so I know it's in the right place, and then we'll do the front one. So this one, as you know, it's going to open the wrong way up, and it feels really wrong to have it the wrong way up, but you do need to have it the wrong way up. So what you're going to do is on the back of here, we're going to add either a strong glue like a Yoo-hoo, or you're going to add red tape. I'm actually going to add red tape this time round. I did add glue last time, but I'm going to add red tape this time just because of the little step down there you've got. It did make it doesn't quite stick on that bit there. So make sure when you stick it down that it definitely opens up the wrong way. So I can see it opens up the wrong way. Make sure this opens up the right way. And what we're going to do is going to take our card and we need to line it up along the bottom, so the bottom lines up with the bottom of the card behind it. And you need to make sure that it is central left and right, and then you're going to go ahead and stick it down. If you want to use some kind of like stamp positioner or whatever, you can, or like a set square, just so you know it's definitely lined up along the bottom, then that would work well. Now you can already see there's a bit of a bulk there already. So this is the reason why I was thinking about maybe sticking it all down first and then adding these bits in. But anyway, we've done it now, so there we go. So this one here, I am now going to add it on, and then I'm going to add the concertina bit, just because I think otherwise I might end up with a bit of a problem. So on the back of here, we're going to go ahead and stick this down. So we're going to add some tape all the way around. Okay, so again, we're going to make sure this opens up the right way this time. And we're going to bring this in. I'm just going to quickly peel those bits back. There we go. Line it up along the bottom again. And make sure it's central left and right. And then we're going to stick the whole thing down like that. Peel off our backing. Okay, so then you end up with this so far. So now what we're going to do is concentrate on the strip in the middle. So your other strip, I think I gave the dimensions for this, but if I didn't, I'm going to tell you now. So again, this is about 1 inch wide, and then the length of it is, well, 1 inch high, and then the length of it is the same size as your card. So it's basically 6 inches, 6 inches. And I've scored it at 1.5, 3 inches and 4.5 inches, okay? And so again, we do the same again. So we're going to fold it all in half, like that. And then we're going to fold the outside pieces up. So you've got like a valley fold, a mountain fold, a valley fold. So you end up with a piece that is W in shape. So there's our W. So we're going to go ahead again and add some tape on the back of there and some tape on the back of there. Okay, so I've put tape there and I've put tape there. So now I'm going to peel the backing off this tape here and the same on this one here, and then we're going to stick it down exactly how we did with the other card. So just going to open that up like that, find roughly halfway. Now we are going to obscure our butterfly, but that's fine by me. Let's lay that down like that and get it pretty much in the right place. I reckon it's going to be about there. Okay, and again I'm going to stick it down opened up. Now it is better to kind of close the concertina up and then close the card on it, but as I said, if you've got thinner card like mine that will recrease itself if it needs to, then you might do better just to do this, because then it's not gonna, you know, it's definitely not wonky. So if we close that, yeah, that's fine. That's not a problem. That's not battling me. Okay, so that's that one. And then I found these little hexagons. So these are going to go on here like that. Okay, so that's the card so far. So you've got that there, you've got that there, and then obviously nothing in there. So that's how it will sit. So I'm now going to go ahead and get the sentiment for it, and I think I might put something in there because I feel like that's a bit bright. Okay, so I went ahead and I found this. This is out of another craft sensation pad, again from ages ago, but it works. It's the right colour. So that's what I'm going to use on the inside of my back card. So I'm going to go ahead now and stick these down. Now I probably, actually, thinking at it now, I'm just going to run, instead of putting a mat in, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to run a pen around the outside, an ink pad around the outside, just to give it a border, because I feel like it needs that separation because of the white, and because this isn't white, it doesn't really work. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. Okay, so there's the card finished off. I might add a bit more. I feel like it needs a bit more, but I'm not quite sure what. So because it feels quite plain on the front, but obviously when you open it up, it's not plain at all. And I did go ahead and matte and layer it in the end. I just couldn't bring myself to not do it. So yeah, I will eventually probably stamp a happy birthday or something, but this is plain enough that I can write in it, but not so plain that it's boring. So that's why I chose that paper. But yeah, so that's the card, and obviously it stands up on your desk like that. It fits into an envelope for a 5x7 card, and as I said before, if you want to change the sizes, you can. It's really easy to change sizes. So yeah, this has ended up quite chunky as well. Not quite as chunky as the other one, but still quite chunky. Mainly because of this. This is what's made it chunky. But obviously if you don't do that, if you just use them as open up cards, then it's not going to be as chunky. But yeah, hopefully you have a go. Please like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, hit the notification bell so you never miss a video, and we will see you next time. Bye!